Why have you made storytelling the focus of your life?
Well, Plato said, he who tells the stories rules society. And there's power in storytelling. Think about storytelling and how much of it is in our lives. When we get together, we want to hear about what have you been up to. Like, you're asking, tell me the story about your life. My wife and I, like, people, how did you guys meet? They want to hear the story, right? We tell stories to our kids to put them to sleep at night. It's comforting. And I've heard it said that in this day and age, we have access to more stories than ever before in human history. That's what we do for fun. We go see a movie, a story. We watch television. It is so permeated in our society. It's amazing. It's great, and it's such a powerful tool. Like a lot of use Christianity for example. Like Jesus, not to get religious on you, but Jesus talked in parables. He used storytelling as a way to teach. It's a powerful method, and the things that he talked about then are still debated today, right? So I love that power of storytelling, not in a power-hungry, drunk kind of way, but it's just a great, beautiful way to work. And this is what I find interesting. When people say in a job interview, you're looking for a job, what do we do? Like we want to talk to people and give them our story about our background and whatever we do. But then what do? We hand them a resume that is a list of bullet points about facts. The most unmemorable thing you can imagine. I don't care how powerful your bullet points are. If it's not wrapped in a story, you won't remember it. So I love that. I try to bring that with me no matter what kind of film I'm working on. And there is nothing that beats the feeling of moving someone or getting them to think about things in a different way. That's what art does, right? Whether it's a painting or a piece of music, it can move you and change you and oftentimes challenge you into, I never thought about, a person that way or whatever it is. Wrap that in a story. Oh man, it's just incredible what it can do. A really negative example of this is, remember the movie Birth of a Nation? Back in the 30s or whenever that came out, the Birth of a Nation movie was about African American senators. Like they showed them as evil people, right, doing evil things, and the Ku Klux Klan being the heroes of the story. This is where the Burning Cross came from. That imagery came from that movie. Wow. So the Ku Klux Klan got them out and took down the terrible villains. And they were the heroes. Well, at the time that movie came out, the Ku Klux Klan were almost non-existent. But once that movie came out, It exploded to several million. That was all based on the power of a story in a negative way. You look at, like Top Gun, when that movie came out, the application rate for the Air Force skyrocketed. What was Castaway? Huge, all of a sudden FedEx, boom, all because of a story, a powerful story. That is so fascinating to me. And here's the funny thing about story is that we all know when we hear a good one, we see a movie, we instantly know if we like it or not, but it's very hard for us to know how to tell one. And the skills to learn how to tell a story take a lifetime to learn, like understanding what does a protagonist do? What should he do or not do, in a story. Like those are much harder to learn because the audience, everyone's a cynic, which you probably see in the comments.
You've said that one thing to make an effective hero is make them really good at their job.
Yes.
And hadn't really thought of that before.
Yeah.
And so even if it's an anti-hero, they're really good at their job, and that's very true.
Yeah, and see how much fun, look at Breaking Bad. He's an anti-hero.
Sure.
But man, we love it when he's making meth.
And he's outsmarting people,
yeah.
And even the scene where he confronts the bullies in the store, in the thrift shop, or whatever, where he is.
Or like when he's there are moments in that series when he's teaching science to the students. And I remember there's one scene where he's got 3 bottles, and as he squirted a flame, the flame changed color, all based on the solution that was inside. It was really cool to see him so skilled. He's a super flawed human,
Sure.
There's a character on that show, Mike, who's really good at his job too. If you've ever watched the show, but I mean, James Bond, like, the guy's great at, he's got flaws, but man, it's fun. Jason Bourne, really good at fighting people. Man, it's so cool to watch. You just really get into it when they start doing that. So yeah, then you can, and you want to, tease your audience with that. You want to let them enjoy that a little bit. I mean, that's superhero movies. Look at it, like, you can make them as flawed as you want, but you have to show them being, you want to see Batman, be Batman, and beat some people up and fly and do what he does. That's important. That's part of the allure.
And even in E.T., although Elliot didn't have a job, he was great at sort of being this, he had this sort of symbiotic relationship with this creature. And he led, his group of friends on their bike and stuff. So he was good at sort of rounding the troops and trying to get him back.
Right, yeah. I mean, it doesn't, job, be good at job or whatever they do. You want them to be good, like, trying to think of like Stranger Things. In the latest season of Stranger Things, there's a girl that works in the ice cream shop who's just really good at solving mysteries, which makes it fun to watch. To see her solve, because I think they figured out a Russian broadcast. They kind of put the pieces together, and you watching her like do it. It's just you just love to watch somebody smart doing something that they're good at. Like, it's enjoyable, draws you in.
Or Good Will Hunting.
Yes.
Although maybe he wasn't the best janitor, maybe he was, but he was secretly solving these math problems.
Yeah, we solved that math problem. It's cool. You just, oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really, it's one thing that makes you care about them. Yeah, it's important.